Melody's recent appearance and the words she shared during that moment reopened conversations that many people thought were already finished. What made the moment powerful was not loud emotion or direct accusations. It was the calm way she carried herself and the confidence behind her words. When Melody sang lyrics about someone being filled with regret and begging for another chance, it did not sound random or casual. It felt personal. It felt intentional. And for many people watching, it immediately brought Martell back into the conversation. Melody has reached a place where she no longer needs to explain herself. Over time, she has learned how to speak clearly, without calling names or pointing fingers. She does not need to. Her message still lands. The way she delivered those lyrics showed emotional growth and self-control. She did not sound angry. She did not sound hurt. She sounded firm, healed, and aware. That kind of tone only comes from someone who has done the inner work. The idea that Martell may still be holding on to hope does not surprise many viewers. Despite everything that has happened, including the public embarrassment, the divorce, and his own actions after the marriage ended, there still appears to be a belief on his side that Melody might one day change her mind. That belief alone says a lot. It suggests that Martell may have never fully accepted that the marriage was truly over. Instead of letting go, it seems possible that he still sees Melody as someone he can convince, wear down, or pull back into his life. That mindset reflects unfinished emotional business. Melody's words made it clear that she understands this dynamic, and more importantly, that she is no longer entertaining it. She is no longer available for confusion, hope, or regret that does not belong to her. What makes this situation even more telling is how Melody continues to move forward without addressing Martell directly. She does not go live to argue. She does not post emotional messages aimed at him. She does not explain herself to the public. Instead, she allows her life to speak for her. Her peace speaks. Her actions speak. Moments like the one where she sang those lyrics speak louder than any statement ever could. When Melody sang, it was not about drama or attention. It was about truth, a truth she has likely lived with quietly for a long time, a truth that Martell may still be struggling to accept. That contrast between where she is and where he might still be emotionally is very clear. At the same time, viewers saw Melody sharing a meaningful moment with her children. For the first time in a while, all 4 kids were together, opening gifts, laughing, and enjoying time as a family. That moment mattered. It showed stability. It showed normal life. It showed that Melody has created a safe and peaceful environment for her children. The children looked relaxed and comfortable. There was no tension in the room. That alone speaks volumes. It shows that despite everything Melody has been through, she has kept her focus where it belongs. Her children are her priority, and it shows in how they move, speak, and interact around her. Watching the kids open their gifts was more than a holiday moment. It was a reminder of Melody's presence as a mother. Each gift reflected thought and care. Tank receiving a television for his room was a sign that Melody respects his growth. She recognizes that he's getting older and deserves his own space. That type of parenting shows balance and awareness. Melody does not overdo things, and she does not hold her children back either. She meets them where they are. That balance is important, and it shows emotional maturity not just as a woman, but as a parent. Milani's reaction to receiving books stood out to many viewers. Her honesty and personality came through naturally. The moment did not feel forced or staged. Melody did not shame her. She did not shut her down. She laughed and gently reminded her that learning still matters. That interaction showed patience, understanding, and guidance. It also showed that Melody allows her children to be themselves while still providing direction. That is not easy parenting. That is intentional parenting. Mahalia's receiving a ring light and camera setup added another layer to the moment. It showed that Melody pays attention to her children's interests. When Mahalia mentioned that she had been vlogging, Melody did not dismiss it. She encouraged her. That kind of support builds confidence. It tells children that their ideas matter and their creativity is welcome. These moments are important because they show that Melody's life is full and grounded. She is moving forward. Her home feels settled. Her energy feels calm. That is not the mindset of someone who is waiting on the past or considering going backward. This context matters when discussing the idea that Martell may still be begging for another chance. From the outside, there does not appear to be any space in Melody's life for that. Her focus is clear, her priorities are clear, her peace is clear. Melody's appearance at the second annual Winter Wonderland event added another layer to the conversation. The fact that this is becoming a yearly tradition shows vision and consistency. She is building something stable and meaningful. That alone reflects forward movement. While performing at the event, Melody sang, and that is when the lyrics that caught everyone's attention were shared. The delivery did not feel accidental. It felt like release. It felt like a woman finally saying out loud what she has likely carried privately for a long time. When Melody sang about someone being full of regret and begging to be taken back, it sounded factual, almost like she was telling her story without needing approval or validation. Many viewers believe those words reflect ongoing attempts by Martell to reconnect despite his public behavior. Flaunting another woman while still holding on to hope from his ex-wife is confusing behavior, but it's also very human. It shows ego, it shows denial, it shows unresolved emotions. Melody's words suggest she sees that clearly and has chosen not to engage. Tank joining in and singing along during the moment added emotional weight. It showed that children are more aware than people sometimes think. They feel energy, they hear things, they observe behavior. That moment was layered. It was not just entertainment, it was life happening in real time. Meanwhile, Martell was also seen celebrating Christmas with his children. The setup looked festive. There were gifts, decorations, and smiles. On the surface, everything looked joyful, but many people noticed what was missing: Melody. Her absence wasn't just physical, it was symbolic. Melody was a major part of that family unit. Her presence mattered, and without her, something feels incomplete. Some viewers believe Martell is slowly realizing that life without Melody is not what he imagined. The freedom he thought he wanted may have come with consequences he did not fully consider. Regret often shows up quietly. It appears in longing, in reflection, and in attempts to rewrite the past. Melody's lyrics suggest she understands that. She sees the regret, but she also sees that it is no longer her responsibility. The conversation briefly shifted to remembering Kiki. Her absence remains heavy. She is deeply missed. The acknowledgement of her memory was respectful and heartfelt. It reminded viewers that life is fragile and moments matter. Another topic that came up was Tiffany and the confusion surrounding her marriage. When she posted pictures without her husband, it led to questions. In the world of social media, absence often creates speculation. Tiffany addressed it in her own way by responding privately and later posting pictures with her husband. She explained that he was away and later shared moments of him being present and involved. While pictures don't tell the full story, they do offer context. At the very least, it showed an effort to clear the air. Sunny's quiet return to social media caught attention. After her husband returned, they chose privacy over posting. That decision likely helped them reconnect without outside noise. When she later resurfaced to celebrate her anniversary, it felt intentional. Sweet Tea being seen out with friends showed another example of balance. Life continues, people heal, people find joy again in simple moments. All of these updates showed movement and change, but at the center of it all remains Melody, her words, her presence, her peace. If Martell is truly still begging for another chance, Melody's response is clear without her ever saying his name. She is not interested in going backward. She is not lowering her standards. She is not confused. She knows her worth. That is what made the moment powerful. It was not about revenge. It was not about shade. It was about closure. Melody has moved on, and if Martell is still stuck in the past, that's his journey to face. In the end, what viewers are watching is the result of choices made years ago that are now playing out in real time. Melody chose herself, her children, and her peace. Martell chose differently. Melody's lyrics were not just words. They were a boundary, a clear line that says some doors once closed, stay closed, and that is where things stand. What makes Melody's journey stand out is how quietly she has stepped into her power. There's no loud announcement. There is no need to prove anything. Her growth shows up in the way she carries herself, the way she speaks, and the choices she makes every day. That kind of confidence cannot be faked. It only comes after deep disappointment, reflection, and healing. For a long time, Melody was expected to react. People waited for her to break, to lash out, or to publicly confront Martell. That never happened. Instead, she chose silence where noise was expected. She chose boundaries where chaos once lived. That decision alone changed the entire dynamic. When someone continues to hope for another chance after everything has ended, it often means they are still holding on to the version of the past that made them feel secure. Martell's alleged behavior suggests he may still be chasing what once was, rather than accepting what is. That kind of attachment can be painful, especially when the other person has already moved on. Melody's life today does not reflect uncertainty. It reflects clarity. Her days are filled with purpose. Her time is spent nurturing her children, building traditions, and creating a stable environment. That stability is not accidental. It is the result of choosing peace again and again. The way her children respond to her says everything. They feel safe. They feel heard. They feel supported. Children do not hide emotional truth well. Their comfort speaks louder than words ever could. Melody's home does not feel like a place weighed down by regret. It feels like a place moving forward. That energy matters when people question whether she would ever reconsider the past. From the outside, there is no sign that she is looking back. Meanwhile, Martell's journey appears more unsettled. Public moments of joy exist, but so does visible absence. That contrast can be difficult to face. When someone loses what grounded them, the realization does not always come immediately. Sometimes it arrives slowly, through quiet moments and reflection. Regret does not always show itself through tears or apologies. Often it shows up in longing, memory, and repeated attempts to reconnect. Melody's lyrics touched on that truth without ever needing to explain it. Her words were not spoken with anger. They were spoken with acceptance. Acceptance does not mean approval. It means understanding that what is done cannot be undone. The strength in Melody's message lies in her refusal to reopen old wounds. She's not rewriting history. She's not trying to control how others feel. She is simply standing firm in her truth. That firmness sends a clear signal. It says healing is complete. It says the chapter is closed. It says moving backward is not an option. For those watching, the contrast between Melody and Martell feels like a lesson about choices and consequences. Life continues for both, but in very different emotional spaces. One is rooted in peace, the other appears to be searching for closure. The mention of other cast members and their situations only highlights how differently people handle change. Some seek privacy, some seek clarity, some seek distraction. Everyone processes loss in their own way. Melody's approach has been consistent. She does not overshare. She does not explain herself. She allows time and actions to do the talking. That level of restraint is rare, especially in public situations. As conversations continue online, many people recognize that Melody's calm is not weakness. It is strength. It takes courage to walk away and stay gone. It takes discipline to resist reopening doors that lead nowhere. If Martell is truly still hoping for reconciliation, the reality he may be facing is that Melody has already chosen differently. That choice was not impulsive. It was thoughtful, intentional, and rooted in self-respect. Melody's journey shows that closure does not always require a conversation. Sometimes it requires distance. Sometimes it requires silence. Sometimes it's choosing yourself even when others are not ready to accept it. What viewers are witnessing now is not drama unfolding. It is resolution settling in. The noise has faded. The emotions have stabilized. What remains is truth. Melody's life reflects a woman who knows who she is and what she deserves. Her words, her actions, and her peace all align. That alignment is powerful. In the end, if Martell is still carrying regret, that burden belongs to him. Melody is no longer responsible for easing that pain or offering comfort for choices she did not make. Her message has been sent clearly, calmly, and without apology. The door is closed, the lesson is learned, the future is forward. And that is where Melody stands.